again, welcome for the continuation of our lesson. We are discussing about mechanisms of evolution. Previously, we just concluded on Lamarck. Next, scientist Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin based his theory to explain evolution on natural selection principle. What is natural selection? It is a condition where nature selects and favor organisms with advantageous characteristics and eliminate those with disadvantageous characteristics. The one that has been favored passed on the characteristic to the rest, and therefore the younger ones that are born are coming up with the characteristic that has been passed on. Charles Darwin stated that nature selects and favors organisms with well-adapted features, and it eliminates those with the less adaptive feature. He based his theory of natural selection on survival for the fittest. Organisms with adaptive features survive. They grow to maturity. Those with the less adaptive features die off because competition is too tough for them. Darwin theory of natural selection. What does it say? A natural selection of Charles Darwin is that there is always struggle for existence. We, human beings, we know that we have a lot of struggle to exist. And if you don't struggle, then it means you will not be able to survive. So there is always struggle for existence amongst organisms. Why are organisms struggling to exist? They are struggling to exist because there is resources which are limited, such as food, mates, shelter, as well as enduring the harshness of the environment. Due to that, those that are well adapted, they survive to adulthood, while those that are less adapted, they die. Therefore, we come up with the aspect of survival of the fittest, that the well-adapted survive, while those that are less adapted, they are eliminated. Thus, the fittest organisms survive and breed. The ones that are fit, they survive, reach maturity. After reaching maturity, they breed to give rise to the offspring. At the adulthood, they give rise to the offspring of the next generation. If the next characteristics they possess are inborn, they are passed on to the offspring. This leads to natural occurrence of variation in a species. Variation, that means that that's where children in a family born from the same mother and father, they look a bit different. That is variation. The variations are transmitted. Now, some differences among organisms of the same species are transmitted to successive generation of the offsprings. Transmitted means passed. Consequently, there is gradual change, and that is evolution, in the characteristic of the species, making it better adapted to its environment. Accumulation of small variations, that means this small variation accumulated over a long period of time lead to emergence of new forms of life. These organisms are looking very different from the original form, or from the ancestors. If suited and adapted to the new environment, these new forms reproduce successfully and pass on their characteristics. While if not suited, these new forms are eliminated by nature. If not well suited, the new forms of organisms, those that have been born, are eliminated by nature. Therefore, Darwin proposed that natural selection exists in nature, which select those individuals that are of species best suited to that environment. He explained that in nature, there exists a struggle for existence, and those best suited for the environment, they survive. So in his explanation, he based on the principle of natural selection. And under natural selection, it has two concepts. In natural selection, we have survival for existence, and we have survival for the fittest. What is survival of existence? I mean, what is struggle for existence? Struggle for existence is where that every organism faces a constant struggle to survive. Organisms of the same, in the same environment are always competing for resources like food, shelter, mates, etc., as well as struggle to cope with the harsh environmental condition, which are temperature, extreme temperature, flood, diseases, and avoidance of enemies. This is struggle for existence. Then we have survival for the fittest. What is survival for the fittest? That offspring with favorable characteristics survive to reproduce to survive to maturity, to reproduce organisms of the same type, while those of less advantageous characteristics do not survive. They are eliminated. Scientific explanation of Darwin's theory. Variations are determined by genes. In fact, other scientists agreed with Darwin but disputed the theory of Lamarck. They agreed because Charles Darwin based his explanation on genes, that variations that we see in organisms of the same species is due to genes, which are passed from parents to offspring. Organisms with advantageous variation survive while and give rise to the offspring. Now, the same also Charles Darwin based his explanation on giraffe. With this, we can see here giraffes. Those giraffes that are shown there, we have some that have long neck, able to reach the leaves of the shrubs, while others have short necks, meaning that nature is selecting and favoring those of the long neck. They are able to reach food and eat, while those that are of short neck are not able to reach food to eat, and therefore they starve. At the next level, we are seeing now those that are able to reach food, the leaves, and eat, they have gone strong and they are surviving. The ones on the ground, they have died, because then nature did not favor and favor them. It eliminated them since they were not able to reach the leaves to feed and survive. At a lower point, these are offsprings that have been given rise to by the parent of the giraffes, which had advantageous characteristic of the long neck, which were able to eat the leaves. To eat the leaves, they grew strong and they were able to reach maturity and pass on. So these are the offsprings of those organisms. On the final bit, the figure below shows feeds of various birds. Study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. That is a small assignment for you, that you can be able to look through the question and be able to think about it, so that we'll be able to discuss it in the next section. Thank you.